Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm out here in the south of France on one of my favourite roads, the Red Rock Road, just down near Nice and Monaco. And I'm on a road trip with my other half in my M3 competition xDrive. And I thought it would be a good time to give you lot an update on this car. It's just about to clock over 4,000 miles, much thanks to the past couple of days, which have been quite lengthy getting down here. And it's almost exactly 4 months old. I think it turns 4 months old tomorrow. So I thought it would be a good time to give you an update because I haven't really used this car much, and I really haven't used it in anger at all. Maybe once or twice at home, but no track days and no incredible roads like this. So I thought, you know what, let's throw the GoPros on. And I'm very grateful that my lovely other half, Lou, is taking half an hour sitting on a bench and absorbing the beautiful views around us. It's 33 degrees outside, mind, and it feels even hotter than that. You can probably see I've got a bit of a sweat on from when I've stopped beforehand, ran outside and got some of the flybys on camera, because obviously I do all of my filming alone most of the time. When you're running around, moving the camera around, it's certainly a lot of work at 33 degrees. On the way back, we'll just enjoy this road and I'll attack it a bit harder. But on the way up, I guess you'd call this, because it is mostly an upgrading, I'll talk you through what I've discovered with this car in the time that I've had it. First thing to talk about is the colour and the spec. Well, I went for Dravic Grey, for those of you that haven't watched my collection video, and I absolutely love it. It's a really interesting colour with a lot of depth in it. On a dull, dreary UK wintry day, it just looks like a flat, dark grey. But on a day like today, when it's quite clean, you get a beautiful sort of bronze glitter from it, and it actually looks a lot lighter, more like a crayon almost. So it really changes like a chameleon depending on the weather. In terms of the options I went for, well, let's start with the interior. Fiona red individual leather, I absolutely love it. I've discovered a few things about the individual interior. Firstly, you get the piping around the floor mats, which Tony pointed out when we were ordering the car. But also you get leather on these side bolsters, whereas you'd normally get Alcantara on some of the other, or all of the other leather options that aren't individual. Now that sounds fancy, but unfortunately I don't think it's the best thing in the world, because two reasons. One, the leather doesn't give you the grip or the purchase that the Alcantara does, and you really need it there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not sliding around these seats because they are the optional carbon buckets. Oh, tunnel. I might be a child through a lot of this video, but anyway. Anyway, back to the seats. So, yeah, one is the fact that they don't offer you as much purchase being leather. I'm sure that's not going to affect everyone. But the other thing is the wear factor. Now, I like my G-Star jeans, no ad, but if you're watching, please send me some jeans because I go through a lot. And the G-Star jeans have got little sort of, I guess you'd call them rivets, and they I'll wait until I get out the other side so you can see me at least. They scratch these bolsters when you get in and out them, because they're not the easiest seats to get in and out of. So just beware of that when you're ordering your carbon buckets with the individual option. These side bolsters aren't Alcantara, they're leather. While we're doing this through tunnels here in France, obviously you should never really speed in tunnels in anywhere in Europe, but these ones, just be careful. I've been here at the end of the year. In fact, the last time I was here was with my good friend Steph, ABTV, and we're in a Nardo Grey RS7, and at that time of year, I think that was like February, March, or at the end of the year as we're going into winter, there's a lot of moisture that comes through these tunnels and soaks onto the ground. So if you do floor it in the tunnel, just remember you might get a bit of wheel spin, and also when you come to brake at the other end, you'll see that more relevant when we go the other direction. Just beware, because they do get quite slippery and slimy in there. It's a shame we're stuck behind a car, because, well, you can see this is just such a cool, interesting road. So, seats. While we're talking about that, I went with the carbon pack, I believe it was called, which was essentially carbon buckets on the inside and carbon accessories on the outside. So things like the wing mirror caps, intakes, the spoiler at the back, the diffuser. Really does finish off the way this car looks, in my humble opinion. I think it's a really nice finishing sort of touch. And these seats, well, I go on about them all the time. A lot of people still ask me, should I get them in my M3 or my M4? My answer to that always is, if you're using your M3 or your M4 as your sole daily, i.e. you're taking the kids to school, you're going to shops and jumping in and out regularly, then maybe not, because getting in and out of them is their biggest downfall. But if, like me, you use your M3 or your M4 as more of a driving tool, you do use it for daily purposes sometimes, but you have another vehicle, then definitely tick that box, because they add so much to this car. They really do, and I couldn't imagine an M3 or an M4 without these seats. In terms of other options, I've got laser lights, which I absolutely love. They're only about £1,500 option, and when you look at it on the monthlies, it's not too horrendous. I haven't gone for the fancy extended leather or obviously the ultimate pack or any of that, but I'm really happy with this spec. And in fact, I've just spec'd my M3 Touring as well, as I'm sure some of you had guessed. We were told that order books weren't going to open until September, but they have opened, and I've got my one in nice and early, but I'm not going to expect that for a long time, so stay tuned for that. I'll be doing an ordering video as per usual. Let's just talk about some of the mods that I've done to this car. Obviously, I had my Remus exhaust transplanted basically from my rear wheel drive onto this one. Since then, I've had a titanium back box. It's like a prototype system from them put on. It is a bit louder. It's great out here, but it's a bit dronier. As I say, it's a prototype. They haven't finished it yet, so let's see if they can tweak that a little bit to get rid of some of that drone. But if you want sound, I mean, well, windows down, second gear, little blip through here. That's crazy. Absolutely mad. I don't mind doing that out here in the middle of nowhere, but I would feel a little bit odd doing it at home in a built-up area. Maybe a younger Joe would have had more satisfaction from that. We've recently had the beautiful carbon e-Venturi intake put in under the bonnet, and that just allows this engine to breathe better. It allows it to pick up better, especially at some of the altitude we've been going through the last few days, and it just sounds epic as well. I'll try and demonstrate that shortly. And to complement that, I've had a Hexon engine brace put on, because this new generation of M3 and M4 don't have that lovely carbon brace anymore. They have a horrible looking metal one, and this Hexon brace just adds so much to the engine bay. See if you can hear the pickup. Thing is, it's drowned out a little bit by the exhaust. Let's just do it again through here. You can just about hear it. I'm not sure if the mic will be picking that up. Other modifications are obviously my gorgeous Edelweiss wheels. Absolutely love these. The longer they've been on this car, the more I like them, the more I enjoy them. Let's put the windows down, see if you can hear that intake sound. Listen. That's like e-Venturi, Milltek. Epic, epic. Another tunnel coming. I'm a big child, aren't I? Let's do a fourth gear pull. Here we go, fourth. Wow. Yep, that guy is like, what is wrong with you? No, he's smiling. That's always a good sign. So, Edelweiss wheels, 20-inch all round. copper bronze, I believe the finish is on them. They just look stunning. They suit this car so well, and what's important to me is they look OEM plus. They look like they belong on this car. They look way better than the stock wheels, in my opinion. The other sort of modification I've done, I guess, is my Royal steering wheels. Absolutely love this. And the final one is the eye-back lowering springs from Milltek on the front axle. I think they're 15mm lower, so the whole car just sits better. It looks like it sits how it should have done out of the factory. And that's it. I'm not doing any more to this car. Obviously all of that will sort of go over to my touring when that arrives, so none of it's going to go to waste. I'm not just buying it in the short term. Obviously the exhaust has already been on the rear wheel drive and onto this, and it'll be on the touring, so looking very much forward to the touring arriving in 5 or 6 months time, and all of that stuff going onto it. I say 5 or 6 months, it's probably going to be more like 7 or 8 months, but let's see. Let's now talk about the handling dynamics of this car, how it feels, how it drives when you're really pushing it, because as I said at the start of this video, I really haven't had the chance to push this car properly until the last 2 days going through the Alps. And I've had Lou next to me most of the time, and the car has been filled up with our gear because we were away for 10 days. So I've offloaded Lou and some of the gear, and obviously started pushing it a bit harder today on this glorious road, keeping an eye out for cyclists, motorbikes, other road users, pedestrians, etc. But it just feels so good. It feels so planted. Am I missing the rear wheel drive version though? I mean, am I benefiting by having xDrive on a day like today on this road? Probably not. In fact, if I press my M2 button, I'm now in rear wheel drive. Let's see. Okay, well, just over that brow there, the rear started to light up, all the traction control, etc. switched off. So it does feel a bit more, let's call it agile. Yes, I'm definitely being more gentle on the throttle, which really does show you out there I'm feeding the throttle in, whereas when I go back to my default M1, which is 4-wheel drive sport with everything switched off, I come around a corner like this in third and I just go on the floor. Well, that wasn't a good example because there wasn't really much boost there. Let's go through here, come through this left-hander, and on the floor, not even thinking about it. It's effective. Is it more enjoyable? Probably not. And in fact, mostly yesterday, going up some of these amazing alpine passes, I was in 2-wheel drive with everything switched off, just because I felt like I was giving the car more input. So in no way is the xDrive better than the rear wheel drive, but it does give you that all year round capability. It gives you that sure-footedness when you want it. Sure, it's quicker off the line and 0 to 60, but nowhere else. Obviously, once you get rolling above 30 miles an hour, it is no faster. But I guess just like when I ordered this car, I talked about it was a no-brainer for me, because this car, finance-wise, cost me no extra because my rear wheel drive had retained so much value because of the way the market is at the moment. So it was a no-brainer jumping from a 10-month-old car into a brand new car for no extra cost, and that's hopefully what I'm essentially going to do when the touring arrives. I think I might owe a little bit on this car, but it's not gonna, I'm not going to be in negative equity too much, and that's a great position to be in. End this video now because, as I said, my gorgeous other half is waiting for me on a park bench in 34 degrees now, and as much as I love making videos for me and you lot, I don't love it more than I love Lou, so I don't want her to get heat stroke sitting there waiting for me, so I'm going to end the video right now. But thanks so much for watching as always. Thanks for all the support that you give me. I couldn't be doing this without all of you. Really appreciate it, and hopefully I've covered most bases with this M3 Competition xDrive. If you've got any questions, etc., please chuck them in the comments below and I'll get back to you when I can. Till the next one, take it easy. Cheers.